Hello, everyone, and welcome to the JoeCast. We're just about to get started. I am your host, Joseph Martin, aka JoeReviewer, on the website, channel, video, YouTube thing that you're probably watching. And with me is my lovely and talented co-host,
Dana.
You
I
didn't.
think we should talk about the name of your podcast.
Why?
The JoeCast? Isn't that like a bit self-promoting?
What is we gonna call it? I didn't hear you come up with any names.
You didn't ask me to come up with any
That is
names.
beside the point.
That's on top of the point.
My point is that it's Joseph.
Well,
That's
I'm here too. I mean, if you want to have a podcast without me, by all means, go right ahead.
That'd be very difficult because we've already started recording.
Yeah.
So, are we gonna draw this or are we gonna keep going?
Well, I can't think of any other names. The Awesome Cast.
Oh yes, lovely. I'm sure that won't sound generic at all.
The Better Than the Other podcast.
That also is stupid.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it
You
is.
think everything I say is
That
stupid.
is definitely not true. Only
It's
about
stupid.
50 to 75%.
That's most of everything.
You didn't know which 50 to 75% that was on. Maybe it was the
Most.
one that was making you look good.
What?
Exactly. So, as you can probably tell by our lovely opening segment there, this is just gonna shoot the breeze. We're just gonna be shooting the breeze in these. We're not professional yet. This is honestly part of the reason we're doing this is just because a lot of my technology stuff just isn't working, and this is about the only thing I can put together while still producing content. So we're just gonna shoot the breeze, but we are gonna try to stay focused and talk about stuff. So, do you want to introduce our first topic, lovely
Um,
Dana?
which which topic?
The
The first topic?
yes, the one we talked about starting with. That
So recently, I think it was recently, a new game came out called Mario Kart 8 for Wii U. Take it away, Joseph.
you've played it, you know more about it than just that. I mean, I bought it. Dan and I went to the store and we went and bought it, and then we played it. We got through all the 50 cc's. Well, we got through most of them, and then
I think I was with you through at least four.
no, you went through six. I did the last two, special and
Well, yeah, at least four.
yeah.
But by the end of the fourth one, I was asleep. I had a very long day.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, I enjoy it. Mario Kart Double Dash is my favorite. Nostalgia mostly, but I also like the two people on the same cart sort of dynamic and the special items. The special items are something I wish they brought back. I think it would be
Yeah.
fun for the characters than the different stats that they put on all of them, which is just confusing.
I like the special items too. When I've played with Shelby or you, it's always kind of I mean, it makes it more like an interesting thing to pick the characters, but it also can have the problem where like a certain person wants the one character because they know how to use those items, which I guess can also be considered like a challenge, but you'll get those stubborn people that don't want to switch. The stats, yeah, are just confusing. I don't like them.
But the courses, you were talking about the courses, how you didn't like the courses as much. And
I didn't. But I mean, it was just kind of one of those things where you don't know what you're doing, so you don't like it, and then you figure it out, and it's more fun. Because when the course is like the Sunshine Airport, which I think we've ended up playing about four times at this point, I really enjoy that course because I kind of know what's happening. But it's also your TV cuts off like half of it when we're in two-player mode, which makes it more difficult.
my TV, my downstairs TV, which is what the Wii U is hooked up to. I think it only does this with the Wii U, but it cuts off the sides, the left and right sides, like significantly. And usually it isn't a problem because most of the action in games happen in the middle. But in Mario Kart, it's a bit of a problem because like there are points where the course wants you to know that you're supposed to turn, but you don't have any idea that you are.
Well, it's a problem when you're in two player. When you're one player, it is a problem, but it's not as much of a problem. But with two player, having never played some of the courses that we played, I had like, and you had at that point, I was like totally lost. That was hard.
So what we did at first was we alternated. We were doing the 50 cc alternating because we didn't bother to check that you could do it multiplayer.
Well, I mean, single players, you can see things.
Yeah, but
Even on a TV that doesn't cut things off.
yeah, but so we just alternated each race. And then when Dana left, I went and tried to finish the rest of them, and I got through the 100cc. I'm like halfway through the 100cc.
Did you get 3 stars on everything? Or are you just kind of winning?
No, I'm trying to get 3 stars. I tried to go back and clean up some of the 50cc's, but like to get 3 stars, you have to get first place every time, and it's not hard to be in first place every time, but to finish in first place every time, no, because Mario Kart likes to cheat in Grand Prix. They
Blue
give, yeah,
shells,
blue shells,
which look really weird in this one. I don't like how they look.
and like just red shells, and then like, or one time where like I thought I was like decently ahead, and I had been decently ahead the whole time, and I get to the finish line, and then someone zooms by who had gotten like 3 mushrooms, like just as I got to the finish line, and I hadn't like interacted with anyone on the course the entire time until that point, and I got second place. But
Heartbreaking moment.
part of the problem is that it's on Special Cup, which is difficult because it's got dang old Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road is amazing. It's always one of my favorite courses, even though it's usually one of the most difficult to master. I think part of it is because once you master it, you look really cool to people who have no clue what you're doing.
That is definitely true. I feel like there's never any friction on it though. It's
Yeah,
you just tumble off all the time.
yeah.
Like it's the course where going fast doesn't help you that much. Like if you get a mushroom, that's more of a challenge than
I
help.
it's the course where, and yeah, that's true, but it was back when I first got Mario Kart Wii, and I used to play it a lot with my family, and my dad mastered Rainbow Road by learning when to let go of the accelerator, but it doesn't really work on Mario Kart 8 because as soon as you let go, your cart just stops. There's no like slight slowdown or anything.
Yeah. So if you try to do that and you lose just about as much speed as like if you had gotten hit by something.
Yeah.
But I also tried out the online play, and I didn't stink. I wasn't terrible. I got first place like once, but I usually stayed up at the top and stuff. So I still haven't gotten a chance to play with anybody I know online though. Just random strangers. So sad face.
Colon close open parenthesis. Close parenthesis would be happy face.
What's your favorite character, Dana? Do you have a favorite character yet?
On Mario Kart 8,
Yeah,
I like playing with Rosalina?
Rosalina. I think it's
Rosalina.
Rosalina. I always say
Whatever.
Rosalina.
That girl. She's got the right stats. I typically in Mario Kart Wii and Double Dash, I like Koopa the best. But I don't like his stats for Mario Kart 8. I prefer
Because
Rosalina.
the light characters have like really high handling. Means if you like turn the control stick like ever so slightly, they make like a 90-degree turn.
They just fall off the course.
Because we tried, I think it was Toad. I think we tried to go with Toad once,
Yeah.
and like you just couldn't steer it at all.
Well, we picked Toad, and then we were like,
What's
he
it?
already has a pretty high handling. Let's see how high we can make it. And we decided collectively that handling is not the stat that we want to increase.
It was, yeah. We were like making 90-degree turns.
It was quite an adventure. Like
I think we still got 3 stars on it though.
we did, but drifting was like not even an option, which was a pain because whenever I would play Mario Kart Wii, and I'm pretty sure Double Dash, I always had drifting on automatic.
I don't
Is
think
it automatic on Double Dash?
it's not.
It's not. Well, then it's just weird. Either way, I'm really bad at manually drifting because I never really practiced it.
I had a lot of practice. I didn't do it in Double Dash, and I had it on automatic. Well, when I first played Double Dash, like when I was a kid, and then I always had it on automatic on Wii. But I got a lot of practice in Mario Kart 7. Where
One thing about Mario Kart 8, when we were taking turns, we were playing with the gamepad, but then we decided to play two-player, and Joseph had the gamepad and I had the Wiimote, and it was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life because all of the buttons were different. So I was playing Mario Kart, but I wasn't playing it correctly, and I was like, you hold B, but B does something different now, and I can't even remember what it
right,
does.
it's different from Mario Kart Wii, not just
It
the gamepad.
it was like, yeah, but it was a mess. Like I had no clue what I was doing, and it was also because this one requires kind of like pressing the right and left. What are they called?
Bumpers, triggers, whatever.
Yeah, and of course the Wiimote doesn't have that, so it would like have different buttons did that, and it was just difficult. So what did I played with the classic controller next time, and that was a lot easier.
Hmm. And I just say, okay, so it's like summer now at the time of recording this, depending on when you're watching this, that might not be true for you.
Happy summer.
Yeah. This the bugs. The bugs are
Oh my
becoming a
god.
huge problem now. I have 3 bug bites on the same arm, and it's weird because right now I don't have them anywhere else. I just have them on my left arm.
I have bug bites everywhere, but Joseph and I got bit by the same bug. Well, it wasn't the same bug; it was the same type of bug. And I got bit on my leg twice. He got bit on his arm like 3 times. I thought it was just twice.
Well, I only felt it twice. It wasn't like a mosquito. This was like something that like it really hurt when like you were
It,
like you exclaimed ouch. But I have like this other one that's like at the bottom, like on my not even on my wrist, like the bottom of my palm.
that's a horrible
I
place.
know. It's not that bad though.
But yeah, so I'm one of those people that the mosquitoes will just run at. They smell me coming, and they leave whoever they're with, and they just come and attack me. And I'm always telling my friends, if you want to go out on a hike, you should probably bring me because I will keep the mosquitoes away from you.
You should probably
And it
invest in a
works.
different perfume.
What?
You should invest in a different perfume.
It's just my natural scent. I have actually met a couple people that the mosquitoes like more than me, and it's always a wonderful thing to be around those people. But I mean, I can hardly go outside. But it also, Joseph was complaining to me in a, not like complaining like in a bad way, but he was complaining about how his bug bites were itching, and I was like, well,
Disclaimer.
and I was like, well, mine do too, but since I get them so much, I know how to deal with it. I'm really good at ignoring that horrible feeling.
It's not that I don't know how to deal with it. It's just that I'm not used to it
No,
yet.
yeah, it's
Summer,
not.
because summer hasn't just started. It's like
Yeah.
the middle of June. But I mean, depending on where you are, I think summer technically start May 21st or June 21st.
I don't know. I actually, someone said earlier that it wasn't summer. I'll look it up.
It's one of those. I'm pretty sure. I know spring starts March 20th because it's the day after my birthday. My birthday's the last day.
June 21st.
Okay. So it's not technically summer, but like
It's summer to the bugs.
yeah, and we live in
I,
the south, so
yeah.
it's been hot since it's been unbearably hot since what? May?
Yes.
Since school ended pretty much.
I never listen to what like the calendar says is the seasons. I can just like I feel it in my bones when the season has changed. Like it'll still be fall and just the air takes on the smell of winter and I'm like winter is here. And people are like no it's not. It's still fall. I'm like it is definitely winter. And of course it's according to the calendar it's fall, but according to the world it's winter. And right now according to the world it is summer. The mosquitoes know that it is summer.
If you live somewhere up in the northern area, it might get hot where you are. I don't know. I don't live there. But at least for here, it's so hot outside that it's not even just hot, it's humid. It gets so
Well, that's the thing, like, because you can go places in the world that maybe their temperatures get higher than here, but the humidity is what just kills you.
I don't
Like, you
sweat.
step outside and you've just been in the shower.
I don't sweat. It's like I'm not like sweating as much as I'm condensating.
Yeah, I sweat.
Well, I mean, it's probably actually sweat too, but it doesn't feel like I'm sweating.
But I have had days where I've gone outside and I've come back in and people are like, wow, you were sweating. I'm like, nope, this is just the air. It's a major problem. For my hair, being a girl here that wants to have non-frizzy hair. Some girls like frizzy hair and it works for them, but I don't want frizzy hair. It doesn't work for me. It's like it's one of the most painful things, and I've started using a product that takes away the frizz, but my hair doesn't feel as nice.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle, especially because my hair's longer. It is so hot. You always have to if you have long hair and you live in humid and maybe hot. I just know definitely for humid weather, you always have to wear high ponytails because if your hair is on your neck, you're just gonna sweat forever.
See, I have short hair, so I'm fine.
Yeah. You have hair on your face. I don't know how you do that.
It's not thick enough to be a problem, really. It's a lot more sparse than it looks. If I push it up, you can see skin.
I would venture to say that Joseph can grow the most impressive beard of anyone that we went to high school with at this current point in time. Maybe not in the future. Who knows? But I think that if all of the guys that were in our senior class were to get together and have a beard growing contest, Joseph would win. He would definitely win the mustache round.
Shush.
Joseph is the only guy our age that I know that actually looks better with a mustache. It's really impressive, and everyone agrees. There was one of the teachers one time didn't even notice that he had a mustache for the longest time because it just looks so right on him.
Well, it's part of the. That was like the last week of school, and I just sort of gave up on shaving, because it's not
No,
as.
no, no, no. That was during the Little Shop of Horrors week,
Oh, right. So, Dan and I both did a lot of drama in high school, and in senior year we did Little Shop of Horrors.
which was fun.
Yes, and I played Mr. Mushnick, and for the role, instead of like makeup, I actually just grew out a mustache, and no one commented. And like our school has a pretty like strict like no facial hair policy.
And they're really good at enforcing it.
Yeah. So like, I mean, it's not like a strict like you get in trouble as much as you're going to be told to shave. No
And if
one,
you don't, you have to wear a dress uniform, stuff like that.
yeah, like a suit and stuff. But like, no, I mean, I had an excuse, so I was okay.
Right.
They would have been fine with it. But no one ever brought it up, and they didn't know that that's what was happening.
Well, the thing is, because I just thought, for a while, we kind of just thought that the teachers knew that it was allowed, so that's why they weren't saying anything. But I don't, I think that we were talking about it, Joseph, and we were in front of one of the teachers, and she was like, Joseph, I didn't even notice the mustache. You have to shave that afterwards.
Which doesn't seem like it speaks to my ability to grow a mustache at all.
No, but my point is that his mustache looks so good on him that people look at it and think that it belongs there.
Meanwhile, my cheek fuzz leaves something to be desired.
It's not as bad. It was really bad last year.
Yes, you never cease to remind me of that.
I mean, it was horrible. But I think that you also didn't take care of it. It wasn't just that you were bad at growing
Take
it. You
care of
like
it
didn't.
now.
You maintain it some.
Not really.
You maintain it enough to not look awful.
That's not much.
It's enough. I don't think you did anything last year.
I don't. I mean, can't think of anything I've done this year that would have changed anything last year.
Regardless, you looked really bad last year.
Thank you.
So, speaking of Little Shop of Horrors, I have a plant in my house that's growing out of control. Should we explain what Little Shop of Horrors is, just in case?
I mean, it's okay. It's the gist of it is you should probably watch it. It's more famous as a movie than a play.
I like the play better, personally.
Yeah. Basically, the gist of it is there's a Venus flytrap type
Slash avocado.
slash avocado apparently.
That's what it says in the script, like multiple times.
Whatever. Okay, sure. And it eats people. That's the gist of it.
Yeah. And
Without
every time it
spoiling.
eats someone, it gets bigger, basically.
Yeah.
So I have a plant. It doesn't eat people, thankfully. Thankfully, it only drinks water and, plant nutrients and all that stuff. But I got this plant as a Christmas present from my mom. And maybe you've seen them online, but there are these plants they come in this can and you water it, and I guess some come in like a plant pot. I have never seen one of them, but I looked it up online and I saw that some do, and I'm like, whatever. But most of them come in a can, and you take off the top of the can, you give it some water, and the plant grows. And when the plant grows up, it has this. It kind of looks like a flower bud before it opens, but that's not what it is. And they've done some sort of sciencey stuff to it so that it says "I love you." And what they're expecting to happen is the child grows out the plant, and then it says "I love you," and they just kind of let it die. But I didn't do that. I kept watering it. So this plant kept growing, and the little bud thing that says "I love you" split open. This is what was supposed to happen. It split open, and the stem comes out of that, and that was really cool. And it grows up and up and up. We have to tie it to a chopstick and do all of this madness to keep it from falling over because plants. I don't know how they grow in the wild. They can't support themselves. I don't know how they do it. So we had to tie it to a chopstick, and it grew. And we were like, this plant is getting so big, and I was worried that its roots wouldn't have enough room, so we moved it to a bigger pot, and it's been growing in there. And finally, we had to look up what it was because my mom was starting to get concerned about how big this plant was going to get. And it's called a
If I
swordbean
may
plant.
interject, I'm gonna probably be flashing
What?
some pictures up on a video version, but if you're just listening, it's not like when she says it's big, it's more long, not like thick.
It's not thick like a tree trunk. It's long, just kind of like a vine would grow. And I think it is technically a type of vine, but it's really bad at growing around things because we gave it something to grow and it totally ignored it. Anyways, this plant has grown and grown and grown, and it's a sword bean plant, and you can't eat the beans, basically, is the point of that part. But it grew up above the thing we gave it to attach to, and somehow managed to grow across like a 2 foot gap and hook onto this random hook. I don't know why we had this hook that's right by the door. So this plant has grown off of the table and is hanging in the room.
And now it's trying to get out the door.
And it's trying to grow out the door. It's got a branch that has, I guess they're called branches. It's got a branch that has grown out on the side and I'm not even kidding. It is reaching for the doorknob. This plant is trying to get out of my house. And I don't know why, because all I've done is be nice to this plant. I trim it, I take care of it. It might be the trimming. It might not like being trimmed. That might be the problem. But it's in the part where it is grown across from the table to the door, it's managed to find like the sunniest spot in the room. So it's grown these leaves that are bigger than my hand. I mean, this plant is impressive, and it's about to grow some beans. I can see where the flowers. It grew some beans last year, and they've dried, and I still have them, and they're really long. Like you can look up pictures. These beans are long, and they're not kidding. These beans are long. You can't eat them, so don't eat them. But it's about to start growing beans again because I can see where the flowers are going to come in, and it's going to be really cool. I'm going to have more unedible beans.
You should do something with them.
Well, right now I just have them dried, and I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. I have three.
Three
One of them is a fail.
three sets of beans.
3 pods.
Yeah, not three beans.
Yeah. I never opened the pods. So before we started this podcast, I looked up, because I needed to fact check myself before I went into this. I looked up the order in which Barbie movies were created.
Okay. And you did this for a particular reason.
Yeah, I have a point. So the first two Barbie movies I have never heard of in my life. The first one was made in 1987 and it was called Barbie and the Rockers Out of This World.
Let the record show that Dana is quite the Barbie movie aficionado.
I am. They're good. It's true.
Dana Cohen, 2014.
And the second one was made in 1992 and it's called Dance Workout with Barbie. I have no idea what those are. I've never seen them in my life and they look really like old. So the two that I thought were the first ever made, and that thank God I looked this up because I was totally about to tell you that they were the first two ever made. They weren't. These are the first two made in the more modern style, like the style that you expect to see from a
Like
Barbie
the
movie.
CG style.
Mm-hmm.
Were the other ones like 2D animated?
I don't know, but their picture of them is a Barbie doll. Like the cover is a Barbie doll. It's not an animated Barbie.
Hmm.
But I haven't seen the movies. I didn't have time to look them up before we started. And I might, maybe. We'll see. So the two that I'm gonna kind of talk about are Barbie and the Nutcracker and Barbie as Rapunzel. Both of these movies were created, well, the first one was created in 2001, the second one was in 2002. And when these were created, the I think Mattel made these movies. They at least had something to do with it because they have Barbie. They were intended for like I think about a preteen sort of age. So they have more of a focus on romance instead of like Be nice to your friends, even though, of course, that's in there too. So these are the only two Barbie movies that I am aware of that actually have Barbie kisses the guy in them. And I don't even know if the Nutcracker one counts because he's a Nutcracker. But she like does actually kiss him in Rapunzel. And then, but my point is that after that, they changed it because they realized that they're not hitting the target audience age, they're actually getting younger children. So they changed the movies so that they were more appropriate for younger kids. Now, my point isn't actually about Barbie movies. That was just my intro to my point.
Quite the intro.
Yeah. So there are some people on YouTube and I'm sure other mediums too that start making something with an intended audience. But as they're going, they realize that other people that they didn't necessarily intend to watch start to watch these things. And it's just how do you figure out when you should change your content to fit the audience that you have or when you should change your content to try to get the audience that you were originally aiming for?
I mean, if you're already getting the audience that you, the a different audience, why with the stuff that you're already doing, why would you need to change it?
Well, I mean, like people that use like a lot of swear words when they're doing their stuff, and then they get complaints that younger children are watching it than they were expecting. But they also do have the older audience. Should they stop cussing because that younger audience is there, even if they're not the main
Well, I mean,
goal?
obviously, if they don't want to do that, then they shouldn't have to. But I don't think that's what you're. I think you're asking, would that be something that someone should do to get more views if they wanted?
Or just to do the right thing. If you know that you have 5 year olds watching your videos, should you try to cut down on the swear words?
I don't think that's the person's responsibility. That's the responsibility of people showing them the content. That's not. That's like saying they shouldn't make M-rated games because parents are buying them for their children. That's sort of that would be my parallel to that. It's not the responsibility of the people who make it. It's the responsibility of the people who consume it or the people who allow it to be consumed.
I agree, but it's still like a problem.
Well, I mean, people have the right to say, "Hey, my kid really likes your stuff, but I wish you didn't swear so much." They have the right to say that, and they can offer the input to it. But as the person making the content, you have the decision to you. It's your decision whether or not you're going to say, "I'm going to try to appeal more to this other audience by not doing that," or "I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and if that makes me lose these people, then I'm willing to take that hit. Either A, because I think I'll be able to do fine, or B, because I don't want to change my creative vision, or I just have this habit of always swearing."
Can I talk about a specific channel?
Sure.
The JoeCast, they had a lot of swearing. And they've cut down on it because they got a lot of complaints about how younger kids were watching and they were swearing. So they don't cuss, but they still have the same inappropriate content. Like they say things that most people think are funny, and I think it's funny most of the time too, but that isn't appropriate for the younger children to hear. So I don't understand. Like, what was the point if they were going to cut down on the cussing but not the bad content? It didn't
Because
really make that much of a difference.
if it satisfies the people who are complaining, then
That shouldn't satisfy the people that were
right. But
complaining.
you're talking about people whose solution to their children watching stuff with swearing in it is to tell the people making it to stop swearing rather than
That's true.
stopping their children from watching it, which would be infinitely easier.
Yeah. But I mean, there's definitely a problem with the internet being like, you can do whatever you want on it, basically.
There's supposed to be warnings, and sometimes there are, like language
Sometimes.
warnings, but there aren't usually.
But if you are a parent and you leave your 5 year old child, to browse the internet completely unsupervised and without previously talking to your child about what they should not do on the internet, it's kind of your own fault if they stumble across a video that they find is funny but that contains cuss words.
Hmm.
I
I mean, the internet is not a place for someone who's 5 years old to be on completely unrestricted, completely unattended. And there are a lot of really easy tools to like keep things safer.
Oh yeah.
Like Google, like there are some people who like don't turn off their don't even like. I don't even understand how this happens because like when Pokemon X and Y came out, and this might have, for the record, this might have been completely fabricated because people were talking about it before and people could just be making this up. But I've heard stories similar to it. But with Pokemon X, sometimes that would take people to websites like Pokemon XXX, which you know what that stands for.
Ah.
Spelling inappropriately, right? So the parents are like, Nintendo, you shouldn't have chosen this name because my child my child is accidentally stumbling onto content that I don't approve of. And it's like, but to even get there, you'd have to turn on Google's safe search,
Yeah.
which is enabled by default.
Yeah.
So, like, in order for that to happen, you would have to have turned it off, then left your safe search off while you let your child onto the computer. And that
Yeah.
just, why do you even, I don't even really, safe search is generally the best option for me because I'm generally don't want anything of that nature.
Well, the safe search is the best option because it also like it's not just like I don't want to see it. It's like it narrows down what you're looking at because Google gives you everything, which is good, but it's also a pain sometimes. So if you have safe search on, you're guaranteed not to stumble across porn accidentally. And it's not necessarily like, oh my god, porn, but like, ugh, now I have to find a different website.
Also, those websites usually have the most viruses.
That's true.
And it's just like, I don't understand why people, I guess it's usually just because they don't, I guess my guess would be that people don't want to admit that they made a mistake, and so they try to blame other people for the problem.
Viruses?
No, the Google searching and then
Oh.
contacting people who enjoy that the content would love to get in contact with and don't manage to.
Yeah.
It's like writing an email to a Nintendo probably for the thing that I just mentioned or to the JoeCast. Probably not going to be read by anyone there.
No, probably not.
Seems like you should just take easier alternatives. So wait, I'm just want to go back. So you said the first Barbie movies were made in the 1970s,
I think it was 80s. I still have it up.
and then the next two that you mentioned were in 2000s.
1987 and 1992.
Oh.
And then for one, two, three, 4, 5. Okay, so for 5 years in a row, well, possibly four. 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2004 each had their own video. There were two in 2005, one in 2000, two in 2003 and 2006. Goodness gracious. Three in 2006, but well, in 2006, one of those that came out was Barbie Diaries, and Barbie Diaries is very different from the other ones that have come out. It actually was the first one that focused on Barbie. I'm not even talking about the first two ever made because I know nothing about them. But out of the ones that I know about, the Barbie Diaries movie was the first one that focused on Barbie instead of a movie that Barbie was the star. But in most of these, she's basically Barbie is the actress playing the main character, is the idea with most of these movies.
Like with the
So,
like Robin Hood or whatever. Like I don't know. Was Robin Hood one of them? I feel like it was, but I don't think so.
no,
I'm thinking about it.
there were.
There's the Three Musketeers one you told me
Yes,
about.
the Three Musketeers. Actually, I thought it was old, and that's why no one knew about it. But no, the Three Musketeers came out. Oh, you're gonna have to wait for me to find it. I was just looking at it. There it is. In 2009, the Three Musketeers came out. And it was not advertised like at all. Or if it was, people just didn't pay attention because there are so many kids that have no idea that this movie exists, but it is one of my favorites that the Barbies movies have made. I mean, it's good.
What's your top five? Give me your top five, right?
Top five. All right, you're gonna. Okay, I've got to say that my top five are going to be chosen more for nostalgia's sake than for actual quality.
Okay.
Because if we were talking about actual quality, I'd have to think about it for a second. So I'm gonna go with In no particular order. Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses. Barbie Princess and the Pauper. Did I say Barbie and Magic of Pegasus?
No, I don't think you did.
Is that four?
That's three.
That's three. That's what happened. Barbie and the Island Princess. And I'm torn. I'm gonna go with Barbie and the Three Musketeers. And that one is actually because I do honestly like it.
My five favorite are Barbie and the Amazing Red Colored Pencil.
Uh-huh.
Barbie meets Blackbeard.
Right.
Um, Barbie wears a top hat to graduation.
People don't know about that one as much.
Barbie does Halloween as a toilet paper wrapped mummy, but it all goes horribly wrong when the other girl is also wrapped in toilet paper. That was an
That
interesting
that
time.
that movie actually won the award for longest movie title in 2014.
And Barbie buys a dress. Those are my
I
favorites.
the Barbie buys a dress. I cannot tell you how many little girls are completely obsessed with that one. It's probably the most popular. So, according to this list, the most recent Barbie movie was Barbie and the Pink Shoes. I have not seen it. Barbie and the
I
Pop
was
Star.
making up names, but that's just Barbie and the Pink Shoes. You were really reaching for that one.
Actually, you know what? I'm totally wrong. I have seen this one. It was just so bad that I completely forgot about it.
I can't imagine how Barbie and the Pink Shoes could ever be a failure.
All right, so let me look at this and see if I can figure out when it. So at some point, the idea of a male counterpart completely vanished. Like they just didn't even
A male counterpart, what?
like romantic counterpart.
What do you mean it vanished?
There were he didn't even exist in some.
What was that?
Like he didn't even exist as a friend. There was just no
We're
one.
talking about Ken or
Yeah, basically, but he's not consistently played by Ken. He's just the male.
the male?
Yeah. So, Barbie and the Diamond Castle, there were males, but there was like no romantic interest. They like danced, but they were just like friends, and that was fine. Barbie and a Christmas Carol it just wasn't even possible. Haven't seen Barbie and Thumbelina. I actually tried to watch it and didn't like it. I can't remember if there's one in Barbie and the Three Musketeers. I'm going down in order. I think there was one in Barbie and a Mermaid Tale. Fashion Fairy Tale. I think Ken was actually in that one.
I still want to
Very
know what actually
secret.
happened in Barbie and the Pink Shoes.
All right, so Barbie finds some pink shoes. She puts them on, and they make her dance really well. That's like all I remember.
Is it like one of those things where like, but then it turns out she didn't even need the pink shoes to dance well. It was just about confidence.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I'll read you the what's it called?
Synopsis?
I guess.
Summary? Synopsis is like what you talk. I think a synopsis doesn't have spoilers.
Yeah,
Whereas
no spoilers.
plot summary is just like everything.
Dance your way to a magical adventure with Barbie, trademark, as Kristen, trademark, a ballerina with big dreams. When she
Trademark.
tries on a pair of sparkling pink shoes,
Trademark.
ellipsis, 75 minutes. So I'm going to read you the first sentence, and then I'm going to read you the second sentence.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to put a break between them,
Okay.
and I'm going to leave out the trademarks. Dance your way to a magical adventure with Barbie as Kristen, a ballerina with big dreams. When she tries on a pair of sparkling pink shoes.
Well then, there seems to be quite the dilemma here,
It's oh I so for those of you who do not know me,
which is like everyone because this
which
is
is everyone
the
at
first
this
one of
point,
these.
but
Unless you saw
you
like
never know.
unless you saw like the older one that we did
Well,
like.
even they won't know this about me then.
Okay, continue.
I have a problem with grammar in the sense that I know what's supposed to happen, and when it doesn't, I get upset. And I used to correct people, but I try really hard not to. I do have a shirt that says I'm silently correcting your grammar, and it's one of the most honest shirts that I own.
I think every lots of people share that with you, Dana.
I don't think actually, because most people just get annoyed.
Right? Nobody likes to be corrected. No one likes to be told
No, no.
they're doing it wrong. But everyone loves to correct other people.
Eh.
I have the advantage of having a younger brother who is. It's not his fault. He just had friends growing up who didn't speak correctly. Like
Mhm.
they were like legitimate stereotypes of people who don't speak right. And so that was his influence. So now he just sort of says things that are wrong, like all the time. Like when we were little, I would correct him because I was like the snooty, like fifth grader telling my brother that he wasn't talking correctly, and my dad was like, Joseph, you need to stop doing that. And then it got to like when I was in high school and he was in middle school, and it got to the point where my dad started telling me, okay, you know what, this needs to be fixed. You can start correcting him now. He's better now. He still can't say barrel roll though. It's barrel.
Oh, it's hilarious. So, the Barbie movies, most of them, or at least traditionally, I don't know if this is still really as much of a thing, but traditionally they begin and end with Barbie teaching Kelly a lesson. So I think that the lesson that you should take from this podcast is Joseph can be very conceited when he names podcasts after himself,
Thank
and you shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't name podcasts after me.
You should not name podcast after yourself. If you want to go out and make a podcast and name it after Joseph, or even better yet, me, please go right ahead and do it.
Wait.
But don't name a podcast after yourself.
What if they want to name it after you, but their name is also Dana?
As long as it's actually after any podcast named Dana would have to be a good podcast.
So it's okay for you to name a podcast after yourself.
No.
But you just said any podcast named after you would have to be a good podcast.
And it would, but that doesn't make it okay for me to name it after myself.
But if that wasn't okay, then wouldn't it be a bad podcast?
No, the name would just suck. Well, it would reflect poorly on the podcaster.
So it reflects poorly on you
Yes.
that the podcast is named after me.
Yes.
Glad we're all on the same page. So if you enjoyed this mess of the podcast that's named after me, which is apparently a terrible thing. If you enjoyed,
JoeCast.
if you enjoyed this, continue watching because we're probably gonna make more because we're gonna have a lot of free time over the summer. If you have anything that you want to ask us, I guess you can ask in the comments and we'll try to talk about it next time. And maybe email me once I get an email set up for this, which I still need to do. And you can follow us on Twitter with what's yours? I don't remember yours off the top of my head. Mine's at JoeReviewer, which is the channel name, so it should be pretty easy to remember. And Dana's is Dana Doodle 321, which I don't even I don't even know how that happens. Doodle isn't even like a part of your name.
I post literally nothing.
You post things sometimes. You should
I'm
start.
pretty sure the last thing I said was something about how you said something on Twitter because you tweeted at me and I tweeted back.
You should.
Finish your thing and we'll look it up.
Okay.
I'm not even logged into my Twitter on my computer.
And you can follow my channel, the Joe Reviewer. You should be watching this video there. But if you aren't, or like you're listening to it somehow, my channel is Joe Reviewer. I don't think you have a YouTube channel, Dana.
I have one, but there's nothing on it.
And then what's your blog's name?
Mywordstowrite.blogspot.com.
Okay, so follow Dana's blog there. She'll talk about stuff like this probably. I
I
wouldn't
talk about games, I talk about social issues, I talk about fun ways to make parties more entertaining.
because you're an expert on that.
Oh, and I do actually have a post about the sword bean plant if you want to see a couple of pictures and read a little bit more about that, if that interests you at all. And I have a short story that I wrote. Yep.
I think that's everything. All right. Well, this has been a good time. So thanks for watching or listening rather, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hello. Oh no, we're gonna have to cut all this out.